Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing November Taurus reading. This is like horoscope astrology kind of stuff. So this is for anyone who has Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Venus. If you're going to be, if you're feeling the effects of Uranus retrograding in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus, and she is going to be in Libra, at least at the beginning of the month. So she's visiting her other child. This is an ancestor overview reading. It's $77. It's one that I offer. You can add charms to any reading for $7, so if you added charms on top of the cards, it would be $84. The decks that I'm using for this reading, I have the Wild Unknown Tarot and Animal Spirit decks. I have the Lucy Cavendish Blessed Bee deck. I have my combined deck of Tim Burton and historical fashion playing cards. Like banshees screaming in the woods out there. And I have the Radley Valentine Angel Tarot deck here. So the way that this reading works is that this section is for the querent. That's whoever's watching the video or whoever you're cross-watching for. There's a past, present, and potential future, which might just be during November, or within the next month, or within the next foreseeable future. The columns are wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, so it's that inner core drive, the modus operandi, the sort of life purpose energy, and then there's emotions and psychic intuitions. This is going to be thoughts and perceptions and communication, and then Pentacles energy is, it's like manifestation, the physical body, money, resources, and things like that. I've got two cards down here, and that's going to be like advice for this section. And then this part over here is the ancestor. So we have close ancestors, medium, distant ancestors, and more distant ancestors. So it could be parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, or it could be like within the last couple hundred years, within the last 1,000 years, with tens of thousands of years, or it could be both at the same time because of the way time can be cyclical and happening at all of it at the same time. I have a card that matches each of these at the end for a wrap-up of the whole reading. And if I'm talking weird, it's because I do not feel well. And I have some time here, and I'm trying to make some progress and get through these ancestor readings, because I want them to be done ahead of time for before the beginning of November. Really before the end of October. Trying to crank them out as fast as I can. So we're in Taurus energy. Is there movement? I just feel like Taurus is in this sort of dreamy state right now. In the past, we have, I can get the card, Four of Swords. So we have this third eye activation. Four of Swords is actually taking a rest. So I said I feel like Taurus is sort of dreamy, and then immediately we get into this rest and dream state. recovery, recharge batteries, Jupiter in Libra. So, I'm getting the, just because I just watch Rocky Horror, but the sword of Damocles is hanging over my head. I've got a feeling someone's gonna be cutting the thread, leaving me with a feeling of an unalienable dread. But this lamb looks pretty happy here. Sort of optimistic and grounded. Warm and fuzzy. It's like I'm weighing these different perspectives. I'm trying to figure out what the truth really is and seeing which thing actually suits me. Right? What is my weapon of choice? Christopher Walken dancing. Emotionally, I have 5 of Pentacles, but it's inverted. This is like one of those videos where it's a time lapse going in reverse. The rose petals falling off. This is like Beauty and the Beast, right? I'm lonely, I'm about to die. But here it's like the blood is going back into the veins, right? I'm returning to health. I'm no longer in a coma. 5 of Pentacles, Mercury in Taurus. Interesting. And with the blood flowing back into the veins and the recharging the batteries, it's almost like the same thing. It's rejuvenation. I'm calling back my own energy. I'm finding my own energy. I have a 5 as a shift or a pivot, and I have a 4. These together is a hermit energy. So there is this idea of going within. I'm finding warmth from being out in the cold by going into my own darkness, right? There's like a descent into the darkness. So we have strength here. In this deck, it's 11. So we have 9, 11, right, in emergency. But we have the hermit, and then we have strength. Sometimes strength is 8 and justice is 11. So there's, again, this Libra energy at present. And look, he's holding the rose in his mouth. He's like, I brought it for myself, and I'm getting this illumination. Look, March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. But the way, it's like because Uranus is retrograde, Taurus is experiencing this backwards, right? They come into this scorpionic time of the year feeling, you know, fresh but maybe vulnerable, and come out in their own mind as, oh, I had the strength all along, right? I have courage now. Like the sword of justice. Like, which one of these is the sword of justice? To restore that which is actually belongs to me. And then we have the Fool inverted. So this is Uranus retrograde. Again, as I had said. It gets like a little baby bird. It's very much Easter motif here. Oh my god, this noise, what the crap? Now, Taurus actually starts in April. But I think some of that energy is coming from the Mars retrograde as well. Mars retrograde in Aries. I'm seeing with this turnaround here, I went deeper into myself instead of leaping off of a cliff. I see solar, I see sacral energy, and those are the main energies that are at play at this point in time. Right? I'm coming up out of the red, the root, and into my sacral chakra. And I see the lamb and this gosling or swan baby here as being this like an egg, like being birthed out of that sacral energy. The strength comes, it's like if I'm going to have strength, I'm going to feel it from the base of my pelvis all the way up to the crown of my head. You know, from the toe to the fist. Let's see what's going on in the present with Taurus. So the Emperor inverted. I'm not surprised to see this. This is coming up a lot. I see this portal here. I see it's a little bit red, but it's also kind of greenish. But it's still giving me this focus on the lower chakras. And it looks like the other side of a portal that's going into this lamb's head. Right? Like an eclipse. The Emperor is Mars energy, Aries energy. In retrograde. And I see this as being a much larger issue than just simply feeling left out in the cold. This is, I have no control over my situation. This is like my ego is making it hard for me to breathe. I have no air. Which is interesting because the swords is air. I have no air. So it looks like lungs. So I have 2 4s in a row. Now I have Judgment inverted. There isn't a closing out of the energy until karma is resolved. You can't skip. If you fail this course, you don't get to take the next one up. You have to pass. You're going to have to take it again if you want to graduate. So what's interesting is I have 4, 4, and then here I have 5, and then I have 20. So 5 times the 4 is the 20. So Judgment is Pluto energy. It's fire. Now Pluto had gone direct at the beginning of October. But we have this inversion here with fire energy. And usually when I see a Scorpio card inverted, it tells me we need to go deeper. And that's what's been happening with this Hermit energy and this sort of nap time Uranus energy. I need to go deeper. I need to breathe deeper into myself. Like I need to fill myself up with air and be able to feel it in my whole body and release it in order to get this connection to my third eye. I need to come through the other side. Prana to help me dig into the root of the karma. So I have 2 10s here. And thoughts and perceptions have the Ace of Pentacles inverted. What's interesting is I'm getting this same kind of portal, but now I've got a cross section. We've cut down the tree and we're looking at the rings. Now this could be the family tree. We have the little branches coming off that this little guy's on. But I see it as cycles that repeat over and over again in time coming down in this family line. I'm not getting what I want. Like, I thought I resolved this feeling left out, but I don't know how to start. I don't know how to get off this broken record. But I have a pivot here and a pivot here. So I have the Two of Wands inverted. Now with this inverted, the chakras are going the right way, the root chakra in the bottom. And these are sort of branches off of the tree. They're like shards after he got hit by lightning in the tower. Two of Wands is Mars in Aries. So we have Mars retrograde in Aries. Right? I'm pinpointing the root problem. It's like acupuncture. I'm also getting that this like operation game, right? You have to get the tweezers just right in the right place, and or if you touch it, if you go off to the side some way, you're going to cause a trauma reaction, right? The ego will spaz out. It's sort of like you got to get in there with the Waldos. I had to stop for a little bit and deal with some stuff. So I'm trying to pick up where I left off here. So I was talking about the two sticks here with the Mars retrograde in Aries is trying to excise the root issue without the whole system flipping out because there's something, they sense something's being taken away. Like the operation game where you hit the sides and it completely flips out. Okay, so we have the Six of Wands inverted. Jupiter in Leo. Now this is sort of like a half transformation card. And because a 6 can be roughly half of death, I almost feel like this is internal transformation. And I see the Emperor, and I see the cross section, I see the branches, and I see a bunch of tangled branches. Like, this is the brush that's left after we cut down the tree. And in this case, it would be the ego. And I see these colors here, the blue-green, and it tells me Neptune and Uranus retrograde. Even though this is Jupiter in Leo, that tells me inversion of Sun tells me moon energy. There's something in the darkness. So this is a third of the moon. Right? It's like internally I'm untangling each little facet of this rigid ego that I've built around me. So I'm experiencing freedom, but I'm going towards the light within. I'm going deeper into my subconsciousness and my consciousness in order to resolve this. Notice I have 4, 4, 6. That's 14. That's balance. I have 10 here. 8 of Cups, walking away from that which doesn't serve anymore. So we end up with Wands in the Wands and Cups in the Cups. Look at all this darkness. It's like I don't need these fancy glasses anymore. They're all rimmed with arsenic anyway. I'm going to leave it behind. Right, in the darkest depths of Mordor, I've thrown all my glasses. Saturn in Pisces. It's the 4 and 4. Strength and justice. Father of Wands inverted. So with this inversion, the chakras are also going up. I have the root and the sacral, and then a little bit of the solar chakra. The King of Wands energy is Cancer and Leo. So I have the moon and the sun, and they're inverted. It's like this eclipse. Silver and gold being melted together. I heard like Lucky Strike and then Rapid Strike. Quick to anger. This is part of the ego. Like in my head, it infuriates me to have to deal with my emotional content. It's like I'm holding on to this last stick here from the ego. You know, my ego is like a coiled serpent ready to strike. You lift up the dead log, and this guy's got a. Not only is he armed with a branch, but he's gonna snap and bite. Lack of security. I'm bunched up into my sacral chakra because I feel threatened. This is a potential future as well. So, as with, I think it was Pisces that had an unresolved near future. The work is still actively being done. And it sort of makes sense because Taurus tends to be stubborn, but if Taurus is ungrounded, the roots aren't going to be deep enough to give that nurturing minerals, the nutrients, and the water. It's like in order for Taurus to soothe their ego, they need to be soaking in a salt bath. They need more vitamins and minerals. Get those Flintstones chewables no matter how old you are. Now what's interesting is that the potential future in the reality, in the challenge position, the Daughter of Cups. And what I'm seeing here are the chakras. Right, I need to release my energies. But I'm not quite sure how to let everything flow. This is the page, an 11, right? There's a timing involved, and I can see my energy radiating forward in front of me, but I'm not quite sure how to follow it, perhaps. But there's this essence that there's going to be a propulsion forward, that there's going to be some clarity after all of this darkness. This is like the waters inside the heart, right? I'm going deeper and there's a light within. But this ego is got some Lord of the Rings shit going on here. Alright, so let me see what's in the advice here. So I have frog inverted. Now this frog in this deck, it's a water elemental, but it can go on land. And when frog is overwhelmed, they're very dried out. They need to go into the water to recharge their batteries. Right? They end up like a dried husk, like a dead tree. I may get the book to read this. I didn't actually bring it out, but look how this like acid rain. Like a depression cloud. This other card here is the Cobra. It matches this card. These are the root energies pushing up from the base to push those energies all the way up through the spine, the Kundalini energy. And we see this push through the sacral chakra. So let me drag the book out so I can actually skim those, because I think there's more information there. At least it's not on the very bottom of the pile. So that would make me a sad panda. Skim frog very quickly, because I'm fairly certain I've got that mostly covered. Wow, this book still smells. Clearing, cleansing, and healing. No matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Overworked and undernourished, right? So it's talking about vitamins and minerals. It's vital to practice self-care. There's also this idea that Taurus can get stuck in hedonism, which can be an ego that requires abundance, and it can fill you with that which doesn't give you any nourishment. Or it could be a state of total lack and go to the other side of the spectrum. Now what's interesting is that the sacral chakra, even though it's sort of fire, it is also water. It's the creative, it's the genesis of the waveform, like the birth waters. It's something starting to congeal out of the ether. And because the frog starts out as the tadpole in the water, they're very connected to that. So with this inverted like this, it's out of balance. It's depleted and running on empty, which is basically what I'd already said over here with this need to take a nap. So let's look at Cobra. Okay. So it says pausing, waiting, and the inner teacher. It represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So there's an essence of humility here, and this inversion of the same character here, it says know-it-all and egocentric. So like I said, this was the ego. This snake isn't going to strike. It's sussing you out. It's observing. Because there's a lot of Mars retrograde energy here. One of the aspects of Mars is observation, negotiation, treaties. It's a certain, like, know thy enemy essence. But if you get to know somebody, it might not be a threat. And then your ego doesn't have to be in attack mode. But it's hard to know if someone is friend or foe if your batteries are so low that anyone coming near you with any sort of electrical charge whatsoever sets your spark off. And that's where we have this electricity. Right? It might not even be an issue necessarily of the ego. It's that the body itself, the physical body, is so depleted that there's no reserve left for even dealing with another person. Now, when I was saying that, I was distracted because I saw these cards over here. the sort of like, I'm getting the rockabye baby in the treetops. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. But look what happens. You think you're falling forever into this abyss, and you land on the water and realize, hey, I'm a swan, I can fucking swim. Like, dude. Alright, so let's move on into the ancestral issues here. Looking in the deep past. Renewal 20. So this is Archangel Jeremiel. Review and evaluate. Or is it Uremiel? Because it might be Uremiel. But either way, review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. Time to move in a new direction. So this is Judgment in this deck, and we see it here. So what is this new phase that's being enacted here? We see these characters in the water, and there's this teaching that's going to happen in which something different's going to occur. Queen of Earth, thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. Okay? So it's sort of saying this new phase that's going to enact a teaching is going to sort of stretch your limits of creativity and manifestation. But if you take it on as a learning course and don't completely flip out right away, you'll be able to maintain this intuitive material balance. Queen of Pentacles is Sagittarius and Capricorn. So we have this, I'm shooting my directive into a new location, right? I'm taking my core energy and sending it somewhere else, but I am being put to task to stay grounded. 13 being a death and rebirth. So we have rebirth and renewal, but something that's difficult. And it's kind of giving me a little bit of getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You know, I know that's a specific religious mythology, and I don't like to lean on one particular dogma because I'm more interested in the patterns and different flavors of world religions than actually adhering to any of them. But it's a familiar story for a lot of people, so it's similar to that. But I'm getting in my head, I'm getting Iron Butterfly In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, baby. Don't you know that I love you? In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, honey. Don't you know that I'll always be true? No, 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 no. Was that upside down? No, that was in the challenge position. Two of Wands, Mars and Aries energy. So it's this energy again. So we have matching cards over here that are upright where they're coming in inverted. Actually, this was in the challenge position. So we can see that there's the shift was starting to happen from into more of a challenging position. It says you've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. So there's this idea that at some point when a challenge came in, this masculine energy sort of kicked the brakes on and said, hold up a second here. Like, what are we doing? I don't trust you. The Hermit, Archangel Ratziel. So I did say there was Hermit energy over here. So Ratziel says, spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, and self-discovery. So the energy I'm getting is like, I don't trust you. It's like, but can I even trust myself? And this to me looks kind of like Jupiter with some of the rings around it. And then the Earth back there. Or it could be cloudy and it could be Uranus and Neptune. Sort of a view of the outer planets. I want to read Archangel Ratziel. Let me get my book. Make sure I'm recording here before I get into this. Alright, so I've got my Dictionary of Angels here. I know I've read him before, especially because he's going to be... I'm pretty sure I've got him in my Oracle deck that I started making that I need to finish. But, let's see... Frickety frack is he? Helps if I actually get into R instead of staying in the letter P. Okay. So it says Ratziel, Secret of God, Angel of Mysteries. Angel of the secret regions and chief of the supreme mysteries. In the Kabbalah, Ratziel is a personification of Chochmah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Divine wisdom. The Book of the Angel Ratziel. Wherein all the celestial and earthly knowledge is set down. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Legend has it that Angel Ratziel handed his book to Adam and that the other angels, out of envy, purloined the precious grimoire and cast it into the sea, whereat God ordered Rahab, primordial angel or demon of the deep, to fish it out and restore it to Adam. Which seems unlikely because apparently Rahab had already been destroyed at that point. So it's interesting that I said getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and then we have this idea of ego setting in. Right? A competition like, hey, I don't trust that dude over there. Like, maybe, like, you can't sit with us. You're too stupid to read our books. You can't sit with us. Do you even go to this school? It's sort of setting him up to be, what's that guy that gave man fire? Oh, Prometheus. How stupid. Okay. He's sort of like Prometheus. He's giving him the fire. The tree of knowledge. Right? The deeper mysteries, the breath, the prana. And it's like, if there's a force that's saying you can't sit with us, there's an energy then of the only place that I can go then is deep within myself. And what's interesting is that the book was thrown into the water, and we see this aversion to being in the water, even though it's necessary because it has the nutrients, the knowledge, the salt, the crystalline data that we need. Intrigue. Okay. And I was about to say I didn't realize Taurus was so religious, but the fucking Hierophant card is Taurus. That's like the religious card, if there is one. This one, a peek. Okay, it's not that one. Okay. So in the Middle Ages there, Midian of Evil. 10 of Cups inverted. Extreme unhappiness. Depression. So Mars in Pisces inverted. So we see that the Mars retrograde in Aries and the Neptune retrograde in Pisces energy is something that's cyclical, that carries this clashing of the subconscious and the ego. Like, oh, my bleeding heart here. And notice that there's a 5 here and a 10 there. 2 of Cups inverted. This looks like someone in their ego. You're like, oh, you think you're such a big shot, huh? What are you doing? You reading a book there? I don't think so. You nerd. So now we have Venus in Cancer inverted. So the ruler of Taurus kind of thrust into emotional darkness, into the fear. Now what's interesting is that a moon card inverted also tells me the sun. Like, I'm blinded by my fear because I feel unbalanced in my heart. I am so abysmally depressed that I'm only experiencing fear. I am completely susceptible to belittling. And now I have Queen of Wands. I feel like this is the same 2 characters. It's like, see, kid, if you just listen to me, I'll tell you how to dress. Look, I can tell that I know what I'm doing because I'm wearing pink and you're just completely washed out. Right, look at me, I'm dressed up like the Heart Center. So here the Queen of Wands, I feel, is in the ego mode, even though she's not coming in even though she's not coming in inverted. Normally I don't see the Queen of Wands upright as negative, but here with Pisces and Aries energy, it's reflecting the distortion more than the direct movement. 15. Binding. 10 is usually a completion, but I kind of feel like here it's telling me the wheel has stopped turning. Right, the sun stood still, I'm blinded by it. We have essentially like a solar eclipse. Too much fire. I am so depressed that when I try to feel anything, it burns. So in the more recent ancestry, I have a blessing on your health, number 9, but it's coming in inverted. All right, I'm trying to process the several different informations that I'm getting. She's got a cup there. So she's got the water and the fire, because there's a dragon here. And it's inverted. Now I see 9, that tells me possibly hermit energy. But what's interesting is that 6, the lovers, which was what this 9 inverted looks like, is healing. And what I'm looking at here is that the hermit is Virgo energy. And for at least the beginning of November, Mercury is in retrograde, while Venus is in Virgo. But they both enter Libra on October 29th, right before November starts. And we have a maiden here, so it's definitely Virgo energy, although it's mercurial. And I'm also getting this idea of like Quicksilver and essentially it's Mad Hatter energy. I'm not resolving my health isn't being resolved. But what it's causing is mental health issues, possibly more than physical issues, although we can see here that there's a lack of like literal nutrients. A blessing on a home, 10. So this is answering this 10 here. There's this essence of transformation, of trying to grow and be fruitful. She wants to be the Empress. This feminine energy here. She wants to complete this energy of being left out. And what's interesting is 9-10 here, which would be 19, the sun energy. And again, I said this idea of being blinded by the light. Now, usually health is directly related to having a safe place to be or a sense of belonging, right? It's like home is where the heart is. But if your heart is somewhere and you're not allowed to be there, it creates this dissonance. It's like I was put out into the world naked, and she looks a little bit scared. I'm like, this is all that I was able to take with me. But it's like, well, then I decided to make myself something decent to put on, and now I look fierce, but I'm completely mental. So this is sort of I can see it providing a challenge for Taurus, where this ego of protecting oneself from being shut out of some sort of aspect of society that you feel like you should be with. Or, I mean, this metaphor could just be, you know, I came in with a different vibration and my parents kicked me out of the house. Right? Like, my parents let me stay there, but my relatives hated me. I was the black sheep of the family. And it created this ego of attacking before being attacked. Right? I heal myself by always having my dragon ready to go. I'm making sure that I feed it. Right? The snake is coiled. The dragon's ready to strike. But here, what's interesting is that Cobra here is talking about learning in order for healing, and it started out with knowledge coming in of a challenge. It's like in order to understand how to... It's like in order to understand how to build yourself up from within, the lesson started by being separated from others to go within. But the way that it's played out has been a huge burden on the ancestry. And now Taurus is like, oh, crap, man, this isn't fair. What the hell? But let's see what the overall end point here is. So we have the Seven of Earth. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So I see taking a nap, I see pause and learn, and I see pause again. This can be impatience, but look at this. We're growing a new tree, and it might not look as regal and fancy as this tree. It's sort of gnarled and lumpy, but it's got all these little glowing balls of energy on it. So it you know, you might not be picked to get cut up to be a mast to go sailing and see the world and all that, but you're creating something that's going to last for a long time. So we have Seven of Pentacles, of course, Saturn and Taurus, right? I'm harvesting, I'm growing something, I'm taking the time to really do it. And I'm seeing the Seven here, and I'm getting this idea of like, I'm about to end the karmic cycle of so many years of bad luck. You know, like breaking a mirror. Okay, I don't know which direction this was in. It's the Ace of Pentacles. And I feel like it's supposed to be upright. It's giving me a little bit of Three of Cups energy, but it's like I've resolved my inner child, my ego, both of my halves, and I'm at this point where I don't need to feel threatened by others in society. I feel like that's not really what I'm supposed to be getting from this card. I think this is more like these people are coming in, you know, like this guy's not even waiting his turn, he's realized that there's this idea of this person is putting out this energy that they've really got something going on, and they're not sort of tagging along with the crowd. It's like, oh, wow, look at you. What are you doing? This is pretty exciting. And this guy's like, wait, what are you talking about? Wow, that is interesting. And it's not like you have to try to force yourself into a group. It's like your soul tribe is going to find you on its own in the material world, so that there won't be this ostracization, this feeling of being kicked out and put out. And it goes back to this 8 number, which is right here on this lion's head. It reminds me of a dream that I had a few days ago, but it's kind of specific and weird to relate, but it did, I mean, the name Aslan was actually said in the dream, and I see this lion here. It reminds me of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I want to clarify this card. Clarify the Ace of Pentacles with the 3 people on it. I'm not reading that whole pile. Half the goddamn deck. Okay. A blessing on your family, 15. Okay, so it is talking about the soul tribe. I've come into a place where I am not constantly on the defensive, but I'm still aware enough to like regard my environment. But I am connecting to like my soul family, soul tribe by really being myself and being connected to myself. Alright, so that's it for Taurus. If you want to get a personal reading, you can message me there, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. The complete list of readings I have and how much they cost is in the description box of my infomercial video, which is linked below this, or you can just email me. I've got merch and prints and other stuff. If you want to donate to, you can hit that tip jar, energy exchange, paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.